The Blur token has been on a bit of a rip, and I think that this is a play that not many people are looking at nor know about in the coin space. So in this video, I'm going to break down Blur, why that's running, and why holding Blur is going to give you access to another coin and airdrop for an upcoming layer 2. Now look, first up, down below there are chapters, so you can fast forward to the sections that you want to help you navigate the video easier. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before moving into the crypto space. It's very risky. So Blur has just done its season 2 airdrop. Now, if you don't know what Blur is an NFT trading platform, and those that traded on the platform that got a whole bunch of activity were airdropped the Blur token. And full disclosure, I was airdropped the Blur token, just under 1,500 Blur tokens. And what has happened is everyone thought that the Blur token was going to absolutely dump when the airdrop went onto the market. But what happened is they launched Season 3, but Season 3 also coincided with them launching Blast, which is going to be their layer 2. Now, the reason that this is important is on Blur, if you then deposit your Blur and essentially stake your Blur tokens, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be earning points. Now, these points will go to Season 3. Now, Season 3 of the Blur airdrop will actually be funded by Blast. Now, this is broken down in a thread by Blur, but basically Season 3 of Redacted airdrop, 50% will go to Blur NFT traders and 50% for Blur token holders via the point system. And then it goes on to kind of explain a little bit what's happening, but then there is an earning multiplier. So the longer that you hold the Blur token, like essentially staked, it ends up multiplying the amount that you earn over time. So basically, the upcoming token for this layer 2 Blast will be airdropped. Now, this will be split between Blast and Blur, and it'll be split between the Blur portion between traders and those that hold the Blur and stake it. Now, Blast has raised $20 million. But the numbers get absolutely crazy with the amount of sort of liquidity that they've actually tied up and the gamification of it. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit carried away, but please hold with me. Otherwise, it gets very confusing. Now, what you can actually do here is in Blast, you can then deposit ETH that you're not allowed to withdraw until February when they kind of go on to Testnet. Which then gives you points. Now, the amount of ETH that you have put in will let you spin a wheel to then get more points. But the ETH that is in there is very Ponzi-nomically-like. So you've got a crew, and I actually did some early access invites, but these guys just ended up sort of taking the invites but not actually kind of depositing anything. But the idea is you can then end up putting a bunch of ETH in that's locked up until February, which then gives you more spins, which gets you more points, which should get you the Blast token. So that is one way to get the Blast token, by getting early access here. But then the other point is to stake Blur, which will then give you points to get you the Blur portion of the points, because Blur Season 3 isn't going to be more Blur tokens, and this is very, very crucial. It's not more Blur tokens, it's going to be the redacted token from Blast, which everyone's just kind of speculating is going to be $Blast. Now look, now that I've set the scene, this is where the play gets very, very interesting. What has happened with Blur is it had dropped off because people essentially were airdropped, and then eventually it just tapered off and went all the way down, so down 88%. But the interesting part is there are going to be no more Blur airdrops, because the Season 3, which is what everyone was worried about, is actually going to be this new one, Blast. What you can see here is this is the point at which the airdrop happened. A lot of people liquidated it, but then everyone realized that, so you can see it dropped down around sort of 13%. Then everyone realized that there's going to be no more Blur on the market from airdrops, so people aren't going to just dump massive amounts. But what's going to happen is people are going to buy Blur to stake to then get what this new coin, the layer 2, essentially $Blast, is going to be. And it ran up 27%. Now, from that point, which let's just take that midpoint here, it's already up another 20%. So from the actual dip lows, it has gone up around 50%. From where it was pre-airdrop, it's still up around 30%. So this is the play. What is happening right now is a lot of people are buying Blur tokens so they can essentially stake the Blur tokens to get points, so they can then get the Blur token of the Blast airdrop, which is going to be essentially the season 3 for Blur, which will then lead into Blast. And because you then end up holding it for longer, you're getting more points. So everyone at the moment is loading up on Blur to essentially use Blur to stake to then get this next thing. So what ends up happening is you're getting a series of Blur that is on the market that is just getting eaten up by people. So it means that there's a reduced supply of Blur on the market. And as we get closer to the airdrop, it seems like more and more people will buy more, hold more, which then should essentially, not financial advice, but push the price up. And that's why you're seeing this absolute rip of a price in Blur. So that is the play. Like, that's basically the play laid out. The fact is, you can buy Blur, stake the Blur to actually get these points, which will then qualify you to get some of the Blast token airdrops. But as the price rises up, you can then also make that cash there. So you're going from the Blur airdrop, I am already up around 30% from the airdrop. And I know that people ended up buying the dip anyway, because this gives people a chance that aren't NFT traders to be buying to participate in the huge airdrops that people got from Blur. So that's basically what the play is, how it works out. Now, what I do think will happen is when Blast comes back online and lets people starting to withdraw their ETH in February, because it's locked up until February, what this means is it means that there will be another announcement. I'm not sure what the announcement will be, if it will be a Blast announcement or if it will be a Blur announcement, but there will be something that happens to keep people's ETH locked up so they don't kind of just off-ramp it and sort of take the points and run. So if you were going to move in on this play, I'm not saying it's too late to move in on it. We've got plenty of room to run with this with the coin. You can see here from all-time highs, we are still about, what is it? We're still a 2x away, but it feels like it's a double-edged sword. You're able to get the gains from Blur if it does continue to run up, but you're also able to hedge your bet and also get the Blast token as well. So that is, that's my thesis. That's what's playing out. That is what I'm doing, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Now, a lot of people in the NFT space absolutely hated Blur. They hated what it did to NFTs. It turned non-fungible tokens into fungible tokens, but there is a lot of people that are seeing this as a very interesting play about what is going on. So what is Blast? Blast is going to be at layer 2. Now, when you bridge your ETH to at layer 2, you can't stake the ETH. You're essentially losing that 4 to 5% yield that you could be getting with staked ETH, but you can't get that in the new ecosystem. What Blast will be is it will give people that yield. So they're essentially going to take all of that ETH that's on that's essentially in the multi-sig wallet that has been bridged. It's then going to essentially stake that ETH, get that yield, and then distribute that yield back to the people. So you're essentially going to be able to stake your ETH and use it on the layer 2. So that is basically what it's trying to do. It should give more money back to the holders and add more liquidity. Now, why would Blast do this? The fact is they want market share, so they're going the Amazon route, go no profit, just expansion, take market share, and then worry about profitability later. What the founder of Blur and Blast has said is he goes, 2 of the biggest opportunities we see for NFTs are reducing transaction cost and institutional grade NFT perps. Hundreds of millions has been spent on gas trading NFTs, and perp volume is 6 times bigger than spot. These opportunities require an L2. So what Blast is going to be is it's going to be a way for people to earn yield, because at the moment when people are trading on something like Blur, trading NFTs, they can't actually get a yield on any of their deposits, what they kind of used to do that trading. This helps them get that, which is good, but then also it's going to let them run a little bit harder with perps. So it basically means longing, shorting, 100x, all of that kind of stuff, like leverage trading with NFTs. So it doesn't matter if you like NFTs, hate NFTs. If you think Bored Ape's going to go to zero, you will be able to leverage trade short, possible, it's all speculation, but leverage trade short that. So if you think NFTs suck, that's what you could do. If you think they're going to go up, you can also do that. It just opens the world to that. So that's what this layer 2 is going to be about. It's going to be about giving more back to the users, because millions of dollars has been lost on gas fees when trading NFTs. So they're trying to solve that issue. Now, I do think that layer 2s will be the meta. It'll be what people are moving towards in the 2024-2025 bull run. So that is why I think this is very crucial. It's got the users, it's got the team, and they're very good at their Ponzi-nomics when it comes to airdrops. So it's just a slam dunk. So that's what's kind of happening. That's the play. That's what I think you should be aware of. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. If you love NFTs, hate NFTs, doesn't matter. This is how you can possibly, not financial advice, make a bit of money on something that you may not know much about. If you enjoyed this video, go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.